It's about time that we Overwatch players got some good news, right? October 4th, Overwatch kicks off its transition to free-to-play, and we finally know the content roadmap that will commit it to an actual live service. This content roadmap is legit. Maybe not reinventing the wheel of free-to-play from what I can tell, but has everything you'd want. A consistent stream of new content to try, an RPG progression to unlock. How can I complain when in so many ways this is what I've been asking for years? I love this direction because I love working towards unlocks in games I play. In today's video, I'll outline why I think Blizzard will succeed with this plan. We'll get into depth after this quick message. Today's video sponsor is Mana App, a debit rewards card made by gamers for gamers like you and me. It's simple. You use it to buy entertainment and video games like you normally do anyway, earn points to use in their shop to collect free loot. You can even earn points by playing video games when you sync your online competitive multiplayer account to Mana. The gaming gear they sent me is super cool. I like the quality as well as the look. This logo looks super clean, but you also can use your points on video games and gaming gift cards. And with Mana Pro, you also get access to Discord Nitro, PS Plus, Xbox Game Pass, and more. You're not going to want to miss out because Mana has tailor-fit rewards specifically for you. Just give it a try. Use the link in the description to join the waitlist. Mana is launching this summer. It is US only though. Refer your friends and you can get up to $109 in Mana points, as well as enter exclusive giveaways. Game the system, unlock free stuff. Click the link in the description to join the Mana App waitlist right now. A lot of us wanted free to play, but it's this content plan that really is going to solidify it to work. The fans will be getting heroes and maps and features and content throughout the life of Overwatch 2, which we need, of course, to enjoy the game. But my first point is the fuel to the content engine, the cosmetics. Oh boy, are there a lot of cosmetics, and it's my expectation that we're going to be able to keep the quality standard we've come to know and love from Overwatch. You look to other games out there, it's a mixed bag when it comes to cosmetic items. In some games, a lot of the skins are simple recolors, or worse for me, they don't feel connected to the character or the game in any way. Overwatch has spoiled me and many of us by having far more lore and personality to their characters themselves, so every little detail can be expressed in the items or their gestures. Whether it's skins, the gun customization, trinkets, alternate weapon skins, character taunts, emotes, they all feel personalized so that when you are a fan of one of those heroes, the cosmetics that come along with them feel important to collect and help you express the immersion into that character. A great example for this is the dance emotes, where other games sure have dance emotes, but they're kind of goofy and random. For Overwatch, they think deeply about who the character is and why they'd act a certain way. What would Reaper do if he was at a party where everyone was dancing? This is the kind of thing Blizzard tends to nail, and it comes from the fact that their characters are so complete because they put that effort into the attention to detail. So I don't see this as just tons of cosmetics that are simple recolors like they can be in other games. I feel like this is going to enrich the experience. Oh yeah, and not to mention, all of that lore building is only going to increase with 2023 starting the PvE stuff, but we'll get to that later. Overall, closing points on the cosmetics, I think they'll be good and more importantly, desirable, which means us as the players will have things that are worth working towards to unlock that RPG progression gameplay that I love so much. I want a battle pass just for things to do, challenges and reasons to go after stuff. But if they nail all of this, that means it will be profitable for the developers to keep working on the game. They've got content planned this far in advance, the rest of the next year. That's unheard of with Overwatch, but also most Blizzard games traditionally were much more loose on their expectations of when things would come out. I was watching Asmongold warn about Diablo 4 possibly falling victim to the old way that Blizzard would let their titles die out after release, failing to give them the long-term support that they need. But this live service model indicates a big change in direction for the company probably overall, but at the very least, Overwatch as a game. Yeah, their old strategy of when it's done, making the community wait forever for the next big update that's usually attached to a larger price tag, that's just not the way gamers expect things to work anymore. So now this new Overwatch 2 plan allows us to compete with modern gaming. Now I'll mention, because I know many of you will be concerned about the microtransactions and Will they be exploitative? Yes, I as well have seen the Diablo Immortal news, and that over there in the mobile department of Blizzard is utter nonsense. But I don't think that's our dev team. At least at the moment, I'm not seeing any signs that the microtransactions are out of control. And you can trust that myself, and I'm sure many other creators, will hold Blizzard's feet to the fire to make sure that the cost in terms of time, work, money of all of this makes sense, is fair to everyone, the gamer as well as the developer, so they can keep making content. They haven't explained this in detail yet, but I think we'll eventually get answers on this, because realistically, October isn't that far away. And that's when the whole thing's out, right? So they're gonna have to warn us the changes ahead of time, I would assume. So that's the core of my big first part of the argument. The content is there, and there's a way to keep having it due to a business model that actually works in 2022. No more of this, oops, I fell in love with an entirely different game and got lost developing it for a few years. That's not how this game looks to be run anymore. And you guys know how I love analogies. What Overwatch felt like with the old leadership, it felt like having a parent who decided to have a second kid, but begin to ignore their first. You're 6 years old now, Overwatch 1. You can fend for yourself, right? Dad, nobody told you to have a second kid if you can't support it. All right, let me calm down. It's water under the bridge. I never thought my relationship with Overwatch dad would be more traumatic than my real dad. I'll get over it eventually, I'm sure. Now let's look at the actual content they're revealing. I think the things that many hardcore Overwatch fans might overlook is the PvE experiences, as they call it, beginning in 2023. That's going to be a major health indicator of the game, because that's what so many casual players are waiting for. And ultimately, that's not that far away. And based on the language of it, I bet it's going to be a gradual rollout, because they're not saying the PvE campaign comes out at X date. Instead, they're saying experiences that you can expect as one of the seasonal content options. Now, we didn't feel like they're shouting this, but this is a major difference to how it was announced originally. That seems to confirm that PvE is released over time and added on top of it, similar to how the hero roster keeps expanding. Most of us agree now that holding content for a massive release many years into the future just kind of doesn't work for the people who want to be continuously playing this game now. While I know a lot of gamers don't like that, the truth is the old model was just a doomed strategy from the get-go. And I think as well, if we do get either mini or major PvE content drops, that also influences into the skins and lore and attachment. And as we go through that process, we keep learning more about the Overwatch story, care more about the characters, and just have more things to do in the game. This is what we've been asking for forever. The potential is obviously there, so I'm excited to see them roll that out. Now, on the PvP side of things, the biggest thing that pops out to me is the cadence of the content. These seasons are 9 weeks apart. They did specify that we can expect a hero every other season with something else added in the in-between, like a map. I'm split on whether this is going to be more than 3 heroes a year like we used to have, or average out to about that, because I think it's going to depend on when these dates land. But still, that's way more transparent and foresight than the guessing game we used to have to do with Overwatch 1. On top of that, of course, you guys know how I feel about the design of Overwatch 2 being so much easier to develop for, because the base template of the game makes so much more sense, and it's harder to invent a new hero that's just going to have ripple effects and way too many synergies, because Overwatch 1 was about RPG team comp building to break the meta and the game. Overwatch 2 is more about the hero expression and the individual, so even if a new character comes out broken, it doesn't necessarily invalidate the rest of the game in the same way that some team comps would in Overwatch 1. I mean, it still might, but I'm just saying it's not like obvious that it's going to happen every time, which is the feeling you got whenever they reworked a hero or released a new one in Overwatch 1. Okay, so the continuous development looks to be there. I would like to see on this roadmap when the feature set or other major changes come, but I think they're keeping it basic here to keep to things the mainstream player base will care the most about: skins, heroes, maps. And October 4th, we know exactly what we're going to get. Some of this is new as well. They say 3 new heroes, which is entirely figured out at this point based based on their reveals and leaks. So we should expect Sojourn, Junker Queen, and the Fox Summoner hero, which maybe they originally wanted 6 new heroes there, which is what they said in a interview with, I think, Game Informer years ago. But I think these 3 are good considering how many heroes are getting reworked and how much different the game plays. Despite a lot of people saying it's the same game, it is quite different in how you have to approach the gameplay in 5v5, in these new maps, in the different modes. So I'm fine with 3 for now. It feels good to me. As for the new game mode, I kind of wonder what it is. Like, are they shooting to replace the tactical gameplay we lost from Assault? Or is it going to lean more towards shooter mechanics? In the workshop community, they've played around with a lot of multi-objective modes like Conquest. Maybe we get something like that. But I also can see the devs taking from Team Fortress 2 some more and maybe get like Payload Race or 5CP. Personally, I've always been super hyped for Overwatch to finally try some split objectives, because while the different game modes we have add flavor to the game, they also never really require you to have a different playstyle. And I think something that Overwatch 2 could do a lot better is that, as opposed to the balanced philosophy of Overwatch 1, where a lot of the maps were choke heavy and the gameplay required you to hold the hand of your teammate to get anywhere, I think we can have some game modes in Overwatch that are like that, but maybe other ones that are more individual focused. And once you do that, well, then the meta and where heroes are good and viable have more times to shine. You don't have to worry about balancing the game perfectly with the numbers of the hero stats, and instead you can give game mode and map design a lot more strength to help that for you. Keeping in mind, I'm pretty sure they'll eventually announce whatever map selection process we're going to be getting in the game that was said to be a thing, as opposed to the random quick play-esque insta-queue into the map matchmaking type. They say they're going to have some way to curate your map selection to give you some agency on what you're going to play, and, well, make that meaningful by actually making the modes kind of different. That's one man's vote, but we'll be tracking this to see if that's the case. My concluding thoughts on this is that the most important thing here is they're signaling the obvious things they should have known this whole time. They have to prioritize releasing heroes. Duh. The world can always use more heroes until the leadership mismanages the team's resources and decided not to anymore. I'm not bitter at all about that. But beyond that, I'd also like to get regular updates on the roadmap as we progress. That would be so cool. There's so much competition for our attention nowadays. It would be helpful to know what content you're going to get when for a game you want to play and love and invest time into in the long term. The current content roadmap says we'll be set through next year. But the more specifics and the more they extend to that and then fulfill that promise, the more we're going to be able to commit ourselves to this game without feeling like we're going to be abandoned and burned like we were in Overwatch 1. I think Blizzard certainly can do all of this because they've expanded the dev team. They've got the business model to do it. They got a wealth of content, ideas, lore, things to tap into. The strategy looks good, so all they have to do is press forward. What do Overwatch coaches tell all of us to do? Press W, right? It's like Overwatch is taking inspiration from its own gameplay mechanics. See the lane to make an impact and walk towards it. It remains to be seen if the general player base will be impressed. Is Donkey going to update his video? Who knows? And kind of who cares? Because to me, the first thing Blizzard has to do is do right by the current fans of the game. I hope all gamers can tune into Overwatch and see how great I think the gameplay plays in Overwatch 2, but the game doesn't have to be for everyone. The whole point of the free-to-play model is that you can tap into the game, try it out, and see what you think, and if they come back with something new to impress you, well, there's no cost to get into it again. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. I'm kind of blown away by this, and I just can't understand why they didn't start the conversation of Overwatch 2 with this, and instead we had to rush out a beta that didn't have any of these things in it and had no idea where they were going, and we all felt lost and directionless and still abandoned. But now I think we know, well, they've got the goods. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave it a like. And if you like RPG progression, maybe in your real life, check out Mana, the debit card for gamers that will give you rewards for buying the things you normally do anyway. That's linked in the description. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell icon to get notified when our videos go live. That's been it for me. I've been Frito for your Overwatch. We'll see you guys next time.